Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're plunging into something incredibly foundational, really quite hidden most of the time.
Right.
Signaling System 7, SS7.
That's the one.
If you've ever, made a call, sent a text, used mobile data, you've bumped into it, even if you didn't know it.
Absolutely. It's this core protocol suite, kind of the bedrock for modern telecom signaling.
So our mission today, let's unpack the global SS7 market. We're looking at the outlook, the growth forecasts, drawing from this really detailed report by Cognitive Market Research.
Got it.
We want to pull out the key insights, maybe some surprising facts, just get you well informed quickly.
Sounds good.
So here's the hook, right? How much is this, well, invisible backbone actually worth?
And maybe more interestingly,
Yeah.
why is this older protocol still growing so much, especially now with everything moving towards IP?
Good point.
Well, it's fascinating because SS7 isn't just some dusty relic. It's still the, let's say, quiet architect behind a lot of what our phones do. It's the control plane. Think of it like air traffic control for calls, texts, data, connecting different network parts.
So it makes things work together.
Exactly. Interoperability, even across 3G, 4G, now 5G. It's vital for global communication. Things like call setup, routing. And importantly, roaming and billing between carriers.
Okay. And that vital part clearly translates to dollars, big dollars, the global SS7 market.
Right.
It was valued around, what, $852 million in 2021?
It's just about, 851.971 million, to be precise from the report.
Right. Okay. And looking ahead, it's projected to grow over 1.1 billion by 2025.
1,105.2 million.
And then it really takes off, doesn't it? Expected to reach almost 1.86 billion by 2033.
That's the projection, 1859.83 million.
So that's a compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of about 6.7% between 2025 and 2033.
6.722%, yeah. A solid growth rate.
But like you said, the really interesting story, I think, starts when we break it down by region. The patterns aren't the same everywhere.
Not at all. Big variations.
Okay, let's kick off with North America. It's a mature market, but still dynamic.
Right.
So this region's SS7 market, over 312 million in 2021.
312.674 million.
Projected to hit nearly 400 million by 2025.
398.425 million.
And eventually around 647 million by 2033.
647.22 million. Still significant growth.
And the U.S. naturally leads the way here, its numbers, about 252 million in 2021.
252.328 million.
Growing to a projected 515 million by 2033.
515.381 million. The key GR there is around 6.1%.
6.131%. Okay. But interestingly, Canada actually shows a slightly faster growth rate. It was about 37 million in 2021.
37.208 million.
Climbs to nearly 49 million in 2025.
48.568 million.
And forecast to hit over 82 million by 2033. That's a 6.9% CAGR.
6.913%.
Yeah.
Higher than the U.S., yeah.
And Mexico shows healthy growth, too, from 23 million in 2021
23.138 million.
to a projected 49 million by 2033.
48.93 million, with a 6.4% CAGR.
6.447%. So we're seeing pretty substantial growth, even in a place like North America that's already, digitally advanced. What's driving this continued need for SS7 there?
That's a really good question. It's less about brand new SS7 rollouts and more about keeping the existing system robust enough for modern demands. In mature markets like North America, SS7 growth often comes from modernizing the support around it, augmenting, not replacing.
Okay.
Think about things like number portability. When you switch carriers but keep your number, SS7 is crucial for that inter-carrier communication.
All right.
And just reliable call routing across these huge, complex networks from different providers. It's kind of the invisible glue, making sure voice services, even if they're migrating to VoLTE or 5G, still connect reliably back to the main telecom world.
That makes a lot of sense. It's the bridge. Okay, let's hop across the pond.
Yeah.
Europe.
Right.
The SS7 market there was valued around 182 million in 2021.
182.322 million.
Estimated to reach 231 million in 2025.
230.987 million.
And projected to hit 376 million by 2033.
375.685 million. Growing at about 6.3% CAGR.
6.269%. And Germany seems to be leading the pack there.
Yeah, strong showing.
Values rising from about 44 million in 2021
43.7 million
to a projected 96 million by 2033.
95.8 million. That's a strong 6.8, almost 6.9% CAGR.
6.856%.
Right.
And the UK also shows significant figures, heading towards 57 million by 2033.
57.367 million.
Yeah.
From about 26.8 million in 21.
And France projected near 40 million by 2033.
39.823 million, up from around 20.8 million.
And beyond those big players, the report mentions Italy, Spain, Russia, Sweden, Switzerland, Denmark, Luxembourg, all showing consistent SS7 growth. What's kind of unique about Europe driving this?
Well, if you think about the bigger picture in Europe, it's a very fragmented market, lots of national operators, different regulations in each country.
True.
SS7 sort of acts as that common language, bridging these different networks. The fact that it's growing consistently across such a varied landscape really highlights its basic role in enabling smooth cross-border communication.
Think about international roaming.
Essential for Europe.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And ensuring things like emergency calls get routed correctly, even while countries adopt newer tech at different speeds. Right, that makes sense. Okay, now, let's talk about the real boom region, Asia Pacific.
Yeah, this is where the numbers get really eye-popping.
Definitely the fastest growing for SS7, an impressive CAGR of about 7.6%.
7.589%. That's high for infrastructure.
The market value here started around 228 million in 2021.
220.3 to 8 million.
Grew to over 305 million in 2025.
305.588 million.
And is expected to reach a massive 548 million by 2033.
548.649 million. A huge market.
China contributes the most in pure dollar terms, right? Over 61 million in 2021.
61.42 million.
Growing to more than 151 million by 2033.
151.30 million. With a KGR of 7.8%.
7.811%. Very strong. But here's a stat that really jumped out at me. India actually has the highest AGR in the entire region.
Wow.
Okay? 8.5%.
8.532%. That's really moving.
Expected to grow from nearly 29 million in 2021.
28.998 million.
To over 77 million by 2033.
77.359 million. That's significant expansion.
And beyond China and India, you've got other strong markets, Japan, South Korea, Australia, Singapore, Taiwan, and Southeast Asia as a whole segment.
Right.
So how do we explain this kind of explosive growth for SS7 in APAC, especially with all the talk about rapid 5G rollouts there?
Well, that rapid growth really tells a story about the global telecom landscape. It's a prime example of SS7's enduring relevance.
Okay.
In Asia-Pacific, you have this massive scale of emerging markets combined with incredibly fast smartphone adoption.
Yeah.
Just sheer numbers driving demand for connectivity.
The volume.
Exactly. And even with 4G and 5G rolling out, the complexity of connecting millions, literally millions of new subscribers onto existing networks, managing traffic between carriers, enabling roaming, billing.
Yeah.
All that heavily relies on SS7.
So it's the integration piece again.
It's the integration piece, massively scaled up. It's the silent translator making sure your new 5G call can connect to someone still on 3G, or that your roaming bill is correct across borders and networks. It's not just more connections, it's the complexity of knitting it all together that needs this foundational protocol.
That insight really clarifies why it's still thriving alongside newer tech. Okay. Shifting gears. South America, also seeing robust growth.
Solid numbers there, too.
Market went from nearly 53 million in 2021.
52.8 to 2 million.
To over 69 million in 2025.
69.407 million.
Projected to reach almost 120 million by 2033.
19.438 million. That's a healthy 7% CAGR.
7.021%. Brazil leads the region.
Usually does in market size.
Growing from about 19.5 million in 21 to a projected 43.5 million by 33.
19.544 million to 43.499 million.
And other key countries, Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Chile, all showing consistent growth. Argentina and Chile specifically are over 7% CAGR.
Right.
What's driving the expansion in South America? Is it similar factors?
I think it points towards an expanding digital footprint across the continent overall. More people getting access to mobile internet services, perhaps in areas that were underserved before.
Okay.
So the demand for reliable underlying protocols like SS7 just naturally goes up to support that digital transformation.
Yeah.
It's building out those essential layers for dependable communication as societies get more connected.
Right, the foundation.
Okay.
Middle East next.
Okay.
SS7 market valued around $41 million in 2021.
40.895 million.
Increased to $53.5 million in 2025.
53.547 million.
And expected to hit over $91 million by 2033.
91.448 million, growing at about 6.9% CAGR.
6.91%. Saudi Arabia and Turkey are among the leaders here.
Hmm.
Saudi Arabia forecasted to grow from about 10.4 million in 21 to over 23 million by 33.
10.387 million up to 23.45 million.
And the UAE projected to rise from over 6 million to over 15.5 million in that same period.
6.461 million to 15.583 million.
And we also see steady growth in places like Qatar and Egypt. How does SS7 fit into the, well, really ambitious development plans we often hear about in the Middle East?
Yeah, I think the growth there is closely tied to exactly that, the big infrastructure projects, the smart city initiatives.
Right.
As these nations invest heavily in modernizing cities and boosting digital capabilities, those foundational telecom systems like SS7 are absolutely essential to make it all work.
Behind the scenes.
Exactly. It's critical for supporting that complex web of connected devices and services that smart cities depend on, ensuring efficient signaling, communication, the plumbing, basically.
Got it. Okay, last region, Africa.
Right.
The market here was worth nearly 35 million in 2021.
34.931 million.
Expected to grow to over 47 million in 2025.
47.247 million.
And about 77 million in 2033.
77.387 million, with a CAGR around 6.4%.
6.362%. South Africa stands out, as you might expect.
Yeah, typically the largest market there.
Growing from about 14.7 million in 21 to a forecast of nearly 35 million by 33.
14.741 million up to 34.685 million.
And Nigeria and the sort of collective rest of Africa segment are also key contributors.
Yeah.
What does this steady, if maybe not explosive, SS7 growth tell us about the telecom landscape in Africa?
Well, for Africa, I think this SS7 growth is particularly noteworthy. It really highlights both the ongoing challenges, but also the huge opportunities for telecom expansion there. You have varying levels of infrastructure across the continent, obviously, but the consistent growth signals this fundamental need for robust signaling systems as mobile and digital services become more widespread, even if basic connectivity is the first step.
So it's really foundational.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
SS7 provides that crucial, reliable foundation, making it indispensable for bringing more people online across Africa.
Okay, you've really painted a clear picture of SS7's foundational role, its continued relevance. But maybe for listeners who are deep in telecom, a question might pop up.
Go ahead.
Given SS7's age, are there known security issues or vulnerabilities that might, temper this growth, especially in these rapidly expanding regions?
That's a really crucial point. And yes, it's something the industry is actively grappling with.
Okay.
While its robustness and its ubiquity are clear from these market numbers we've just gone through, its age does mean it wasn't really designed with today's cybersecurity threats in mind. There have been, well-documented vulnerabilities, things that could potentially allow for location tracking, maybe call interception.
Not good.
Definitely not good.
Yeah.
So while this growth shows it's still operationally necessary, operators are also investing heavily in, let's call them, layered security solutions, monitoring tools on top of the core SS7 system.
So patching it up, essentially.
Kind of. It's an ongoing effort, really, to protect the integrity and privacy of communications without breaking the essential functions SS7 provides. A balancing act.
Okay, that's important context. So let's try and wrap this up. What's the big picture here?
Well, the big picture seems pretty clear, right?
Yeah, I think so. The global SS7 market, this vital yet often invisible backbone, it's not fading away. It's actually growing steadily everywhere.
That's right. And the core drivers seem consistent. Rising demand for telecom infrastructure, more and more digital services being adopted globally, and just the continuous evolution of mobile and broadband networks.
It's that interoperability glue, like you said.
Exactly. Connecting different networks, different generations of tech, which I suppose raises the question, what does this all mean for you?
Right. It means, the next time you make that call, send a text, stream something, you're tapping into this multi-billion-dollar global infrastructure.
Mhm.
And SS7, this foundational tech we barely notice, is just quietly working away in the background, making sure it all connects.
Pretty amazing when you think about it.
It really is. So here's something to maybe chew on. Given this consistent growth in such a fundamental yet, as we discussed, evolving system,
Hmm.
what future innovations, maybe in mobile and digital services, might actually rely on the continued strength and adaptability of protocols like SS7, even if they stay hidden?
That's a great question.
What might that next generation of invisible infrastructure look like? And how will it be built on these, really robust foundations we've been talking about today? Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the show that tries to, pull back the curtain on those big systems running things behind the scenes.
Hmm.
Today, we're doing a deep dive into something. Well, it's fundamental, but you probably don't think about it much. It's the tech behind your phone calls, your smart speaker, even secure online payments.
We're talking about Signaling System 7, SS7.
Exactly, SS7. It's this foundational piece, but, and this is the surprising part, it's still really dynamic, still super crucial today.
Right. And our mission here really is to pull out the key insights from some recent analysis by Cognitive Market Research on the SS7 market.
Yeah, see where it's going.
We want to unpack why it's still so relevant, what challenges it's up against, and, what's next. Because this isn't just some techie detail, SS7.
Ah,
It actually impacts your digital life every day.
okay.
Things like cybersecurity, your mobile connection, it's all tied in.
So let's jump right in then. With all the new tech flying around, 5G and everything, what's actually keeping SS7 not just relevant, but growing? It feels like it should be fading out, but clearly not.
Yeah, that's a great question. It really gets to why SS7 is surprisingly sticky, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
A major driver is just the huge escalating demand for secure communication.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, cyber threats are getting more sophisticated all the time, right?
Tell me about it.
So organizations, especially in critical sectors,
Mm-hmm.
think banking, telecom, healthcare, they're really boosting their investment in signaling systems like SS7.
Because SS7 has specific security features.
Exactly. It has capabilities for things like encryption, real-time monitoring, even advanced fraud detection. That makes it pretty attractive for, beefing up security.
Okay.
Plus, you've got regulations popping up everywhere about data protection. And that's pushing companies towards secure protocols, too.
Mm-hmm.
So SS7 gets another look.
Right, the regulatory push. That makes total sense, especially for finance, like you said, and health data. So it's not just about routing calls anymore. It's kind of having a second life in cybersecurity.
Definitely.
But what else? You mentioned its reach is broader.
Oh, absolutely. The other huge factor is the massive growth of mobile networks combined with just the explosion of IoT devices.
Internet of Things, yeah. Everything's connected now.
Everything. Think about billions and billions of smart devices. Your smart thermostat, industrial
Mhm.
sensors, connected cars, you name it. They're all pinging networks constantly.
Right.
And that sheer scale just intensifies the need for reliable, seamless communication systems to manage it all. SS7 plays this essential background role in making those connections work.
Even with 5G, I thought that used newer stuff.
It does, but 5G actually magnifies the need. You need robust underlying systems to handle the density and speed 5G enables. So SS7 becomes, perhaps counterintuitively, even more relevant in supporting parts of those networks.
Wow, okay. It's kind of hard to even picture that scale. Billions of things all talking. My doorbell alone.
Yeah, exactly.
But look, no tech is perfect, right? If SS7 is so vital, what are the big downsides? The roadblocks it's hitting?
Yeah, there are definitely challenges. The major restraint, without a doubt, is SS7's vulnerability to cyber attacks,
Oof.
to hacking,
Ah, okay. I think I've heard about that.
probably. There have been some pretty high-profile breaches that really set off alarm bells. It's susceptible to things like eavesdropping, different kinds of fraud, location tracking, even knocking out service altogether.
Yikes. So what does that mean practically?
Well, the consequences are real, these security worries.
Mm-hmm.
They've definitely slowed down adoption in some areas, and they significantly hike up the cost of running SS7 systems
How so?
because companies now have to pour money into extra protective measures, firewalls, monitoring systems, constantly updating defenses.
Right, constant vigilance.
Exactly. And fundamentally, this vulnerability erodes trust. If you can't trust the network signaling, that really limits how much you want to rely on it, especially if you're in a sector where security is absolutely critical. It can hamper market expansion.
So it's a technical problem, but also a trust and cost problem. Got it. But despite that vulnerability, it sounds like SS7 isn't just, waiting to be replaced. It's adapting. What trends are we seeing?
Yeah, it's definitely not static. One big trend is the proactive implementation of SS7 firewalls and much more robust security solutions.
Fighting back,
Pretty
basically.
much. Telecom providers are actively rolling out advanced firewalls, intrusion detection systems,
Hmm.
stuff designed specifically to shield their signaling infrastructure from these kinds of external threats.
Okay.
These solutions are really important because they let the existing SS7 systems keep functioning, hopefully more safely, even while the industry is sort of planning this longer-term shift to newer protocols. It's about hardening what's already there.
Okay, hardening the defenses. Now, you mentioned newer protocols. I often assume old tech just gets ripped out and replaced, but the next trend sounds different. Like SS7 is sticking around alongside the new stuff.
That's exactly right. It's maybe a bit counterintuitive. The second key trend is this coexistence of SS7 with modern IP-based protocols like Diameter and SIP.
Diameter and SIP, those are more for 4G, 5G, multimedia stuff?
Correct. They handle things like managing data sessions, authentication on newer networks, but instead of a hard cutover, many operators are running hybrid networks.
How does that work?
They keep the legacy SS7 systems running, mainly to support customers still on older 2G or 3G networks, which is still a lot of people globally.
Right.
And then at the same time, they build out their 4G and 5G services using Diameter and SIP. You see this hybrid approach a lot in developing regions where those older networks are still really important and widely used. A full rip and replace just isn't practical or affordable yet.
That makes a lot of sense, a pragmatic approach. Okay, what else? There was a third trend, something about SS7 moving beyond just making phones connect.
Yes, and this one is fascinating and also raises some questions. We're seeing SS7 being used for applications well beyond traditional telecom.
Like what?
Things like advanced fraud detection, yes, but also lawful interception.
So government surveillance.
Essentially, yes, where authorized agencies access communications data for security or law enforcement reasons, and also broader intelligence gathering.
Oh.
Government agencies, security services, they're realizing they can leverage the signaling data that flows through SS7 networks for advanced analytics, tracking, surveillance.
Okay, I can see how that would be useful for them, but
But, and this is crucial, this specific trend has really kicked up significant debate. Public discussions about user privacy, about the ethics, the governance of using this kind of powerful signaling tech for surveillance.
yeah.
It highlights a real tension.
Yeah, big tension between security needs and individual privacy. Wow, okay.
So if you step back and summarize, the SS7 market is really at this kind of critical point, wouldn't you say?
Seems like it.
You've got strong drivers pushing it forward, like all that mobile growth, the IoT explosion, the need for better security. That points towards growth. But its future, its expansion, really hinges on how well the industry tackles those security vulnerabilities we talked about, and how effectively it adapts and integrates with this evolving telecom landscape, these hybrid networks.
So wrapping this up, what does this all mean for you listening right now? As SS7 keeps evolving, doing everything from connecting your smart lights to maybe enabling national security work, it really forces a big question, doesn't it? How do we as a society find the right balance? How do we balance the benefits of this technology, the advancements, even necessary surveillance tools? How do we balance that with protecting individual privacy in a world that's just getting more and more connected?
It's not an easy answer.
No, definitely not. It's something for you to think about, though, as this foundational kind of invisible technology continues its own deep dive right into the heart of our future.